always avoided making a video about this very topic, but news broke that I'm sure you'll hear about. I hope you hear about. And it's in my wheelhouse. It's in my region right now, so I thought I would share my 2 cents. Reports were just released that a lion wearing a research collar was shot and killed outside of a national park in Zimbabwe. Legally, this is trophy hunting. And I am hesitant to make a video on trophy hunting because it's one of those polarizing issues in conservation. So not just with the general public, but within academia and conservation circles. It's a Pandora's box. And talking about it online, oftentimes people don't have the full context. The bad faith or uneducated or even emotionally driven arguments get amplified more than the educated and evidence-based ones. I'm a wildlife crime researcher currently in Southern Africa, and I was just passing through the region near Hwange at the exact time of when this happened a couple weeks ago. So this struck a nerve, and I have some thoughts. If you haven't heard, a well-known lion known as Blondie, he was a 5-year-old dominant male head of a pride. There were 3 females, 10 cubs, was shot and killed at the end of June, just outside the boundaries of Hwange National Park in Zimbabwe. He was wearing a visible research collar, which was used by Oxford University scientists as part of a long-term conservation study. He was 5 years old, so he was healthy, he was in his prime, and he was actively breeding. The reports also said that he was lured out of the protected area and legally hunted under permit. So the government of Zimbabwe said that this hunt was confirmed, sanctioned, rangers were present, and paperwork was in order. The spokesperson also said that he had no information that Blondie was lured out of the park. He also said that there is nothing unethical or illegal about that for anyone who knows how lions are hunted. This is how people hunt. He also said collars are for research purposes. They don't make an animal immune to hunting. It's a direct quote. Roger, that is their position. But Zimbabwe law does prohibit hunting lions under 6 years of age. So there are some legal issues that need to be looked at here. And insane that you can legally lure predators out from protected areas with dead animals like chumming for sharks. And that fits in the government's definition of ethical. But a media outlet also contacted one of the organizers of the hunt, Victoria Falls Safari Services. This guy, co-owner in it, said, quote, "Do wanna assure you, though, that the hunt was legal and conducted ethically." Again, interesting, that term ethical is being used a lot here. The trophy hunter that killed Blondie reportedly paid $46,000 to kill that lion. I looked up that Zimbabwe National Parks Agency reported that the country makes $20 million a year from trophy hunting, with a single hunter spending an average of $100,000 per hunt. So that includes accommodations, hiring vehicles, and local trackers. They're not tracking these animals themselves. I had a hard time finding a photo where the faces weren't blurred out because these men took the photo down as soon as they put it up. But Lion Exposed, which is an activist website, named an alleged hunter on Twitter. This man has denied the allegation, and we need to continue looking into it before harassment ensues. Anyway, if this sounds familiar, it's because we've been here before. Cecil the lion was also a collared research subject, also from Oxford University, also lured out of Hwange and shot by Walter Palmer, an American dentist from Minnesota. And yet, 10 years later, very little has seemed to change. The only change I'm actually noticing is that they're making it easier to allow the same thing. In 2015, when Cecil was killed, the Zimbabwean law at the time required that any collared animal be reported and not hunted. And though these collared animals are not automatically protected, shooting a known research subject often violates professional ethics. Again, that word. Cut to 2025. I guess ethics have changed. If this is what regulated ethical hunting and ethical conservation looks like, we have to ask ourselves, ethical for who? Trophy hunting operates within a structure where wealth determines access and survival, where Western hunters can spend tens of thousands of dollars to kill protected, threatened animals in the name of funding conservation, and we're allowing it because we can't fund it any other way. I don't personally believe that. This is the part no one really wants to touch, even within the conservation community, that this industry still follows these colonial fracture points, these fault lines of colonialism, and the decisions about what animals live or die, who gets to kill them, who gets to use them, are rarely made by the communities most affected, the scientists that are studying population dynamics. They're shaped by elites in a global tourism market, private landowners, political actors. It really isn't about blaming one hunter or a guide or a country. It's about really interrogating a system where power flows predictably and grossly from the global north to the global south, where a system where conservation still depends on selling tickets to these antiquated rituals to fund survival. Anyway, I don't know who this will reach, but if you made it this far, I hope that you leave with not just being outraged or being mad at me. I don't know. Hopefully you walk away with some questions that we need to be asking ourselves in 2025.